I didn't plan to see that Facebook pop up, but there it was at 1 a.m. on my wife's screen. Sarah M. And a gray chat head hovering at the top. We were lying side by side, half asleep, watching random cat videos. I saw the name for a good 5 seconds before she swiped it away. My chest tightened, late-night messages from someone I didn't recognize. I asked who it was. She mumbled something about just a coworker from years ago, and turned her back. The room felt suddenly cold. I stared at the ceiling, trying to breathe normally, but my lungs clenched. I hadn't slept through that kind of thing in 11 years. In our marriage, we freely handed each other our phones whenever errands came up. She had my passwords decades ago. I never needed hers. She'd unlock it for me when I had to make a call. So I knew exactly what was happening. She saw that chat head, and it wasn't some random notification. I could smell the lie. My heartbeat hammered against my ribs as I handed her the phone and said, "Go ahead, if someone's messaging this late, maybe they need help." She took it without a word and sank into her side of the bed. I rolled over, eyes open, chest tight, listening for every incoming ping. I could see the reflection of her screen flickering on the ceiling, like a warning. 10 minutes passed. No message. Then another from Sarah M. That was the third or fourth time. My jaw ached from clenching. I felt sweat prickling on the back of my neck. I gripped my pillow like a life raft. When she finally set the phone down, she reached behind me, tried to pull me close. Her hand on my chest felt like a replay of every time before she'd done something I didn't know about. I kept my arms cold at my sides. I let her put her head on my shoulder, felt her breath tickle my ear, but I didn't move. Next morning, my eyes burned from lack of sleep. Kids were gone to school, and I was already drained. She tried to text during breakfast. More messages from this Sarah M. I asked again, "Who is messaging you at night?" She gave me that practice look, the one where she picks at her cereal instead of meeting my eyes. "I didn't check it yet. It's nothing." Bullshit. I knew she had. She probably answered it. I said, "Show me." She stiffened. "I'm not comfortable. It's private." I pinched the bridge of my nose. "I'm not asking for your password. Just show me that chat." She rolled her eyes. "You're invading my privacy." I pushed back. "Isn't it also my life? Our marriage isn't a stage play where I watch without asking questions." I kept my voice even, no yelling. My gut told me this was bigger than a coworker catching up. Eventually, she patted her pockets, pretended to scroll. "It's just some old friend. We text around holidays." "That's it." I peered at the screen. A string of messages over 5 years, thank you notes, birthday wishes. "Hope you're doing well." Nothing explicit, until Thanksgiving last year. I saw a string of flirt emojis, half-naked fish jokes, and then a line I couldn't believe. "Wish I was there to hold you after everything you've been through." My mouth went dry. I pointed at the timestamp, 2 a.m. "After what?" She tensed. "Texts get deleted." "It's nothing." I felt that old familiar ache, like betrayal twisting my insides. I closed the gap to read more, but she grabbed the phone back and slammed it on the counter. That's when I realized I was staring at a memory hole. I stepped back. My jaw hurt from clenching. "You deleted the earlier chats?" She shrugged, eyes hard. "I delete messages regularly. It's my phone." I shook my head. "So there's no record of what I'm not supposed to see?" She glanced away. "Stop being nosy." That line felt familiar, like something from my brother when I asked about his gambling debts. I knew how it ends: leave the lies alone until you can't swallow them. That morning, I went for a run, 3 miles, steady pace. My legs felt like noodles, but my head cleared a bit. I texted my buddy Mark. "Need to talk." "Bad shit," he called right away. At 30-something miles per hour on my bike, I realized how my marriage life had gone off track. I'd been the provider, steady job, 2 kids, mortgage payments on time, college fund for both. I'd carried us when the kids were small, worked weekends, built our credit so we could afford the van and the roof replacement. Yet now my self-respect sat in the passenger seat, and I didn't know whether to buckle it or toss it out. That afternoon, I cracked open my laptop, scanned my bank statements for anything odd, joint dinners, hotels, recurring Uber Eats at odd hours. Nothing jumped out. But I noticed I'd been drained, my appetite was gone, I was shaky, could barely focus on my presentations at work. I wrote down a few notes. Meeting with Sarah's supervisor? Confront wife? Hire a private investigator? My heart raced just thinking about calling someone at her old office. By Friday, the tension had built into a knot so tight I could taste metal on my tongue. At dinner, the kids asked why Mom was so quiet. I mumbled something about just tired. I forced a smile, cleaned plates, felt lightheaded. After the kids went to bed, I found her phone unlocked on the kitchen island, forgotten again. My fingers hovered over the icon. Archive chats. I knew I was stepping onto thin ice, but I tapped it. There it was, a whole year's worth of deleted messages, stashed in the archive. Flirt text from 2019. Can't stop thinking about you. Then months of nothing until Thanksgiving. Then a few more. I scrolled back to see voice memos. My chest caved in when I heard her whispering. I need you right now. Over and over. I nearly threw up. I closed the laptop and sat there with her phone balanced on my knee. I didn't feel proud of snooping, but I needed the truth. I put her coffee mug back into the cupboard. I'd already broken my own rule. I wouldn't invade privacy. But when someone shifts boundaries, you have to redraw them. I swallowed hard and set her phone down without a noise. Later, I found her in the bedroom. She looked like she'd been listening. Maybe she saw me leave the kitchen. I slid beside her, put a hand on her shoulder. We need to talk. Her eyes went cold. What now? I kept my tone flat, no dramatics. I saw the archived messages. Her face went blank, and I felt sick, but kept going. You and your coworker slept together 5 years ago. You texted him again last Thanksgiving at 2 a.m. You've lied to me for years. She swallowed. It was a mistake. That word, mistake, felt like gasoline on a fire. I braced myself. One mistake or 6 over 5 years? She stared at the floor. I was lost. I had no one after Mom died. I recognized her pattern, grief folded into postpartum burnout, folded into secret sexting. I'd seen that in other friends' stories. I leaned forward, muscles tight. You had options. You had me. She shook her head, like she wanted to cry. Instead, she said, it meant nothing. It was just. She trailed off, and I could practically hear the gears in her mind grinding for excuses. I stood up. My stomach roiled, and my hands shook. I've got to step back, I said. I need space. I grabbed my keys and slammed out the front door. My life felt untethered. I drove to Mark's place and sat on his couch until 4 a.m, drunk coffee, talking nonsense, and then nothing. He didn't sugarcoat it. Dude, she's been playing you. You can't fix this by begging. I nodded, but my chest still hurt. Sleep was a haze, and every time I closed my eyes, I saw those voice memos and the timestamp on the screenshots. Next day, I told her I'd booked a therapy appointment. We'll go together or I walk away. She said she needed time to heal. I said, that's not my job. My voice didn't waver. I felt my own pulse stutter, anxiety tattooed on my brain. I called the counselor's office and scheduled us for Tuesday at 7 p.m. until 8 p.m. I hung up and realized I'd skipped lunch. I grabbed an apple, half-bit it, and returned to my work. At work yesterday, I could barely focus during that marketing pitch. My boss noticed. You okay, man? I forced a joke about the coffee. He gave me a sympathetic nod. That told me my personal shit was bleeding into my professional life. I hate bringing my problems to the office, but I needed a break, so I walked outside for fresh air. I texted my friend Dave. Remember that camping trip? Could use a getaway. He shot back. You know it, man. Let's go. By the time I picked up the kids from soccer practice and brought them home, I'd decided to rent a small room for a week, just across town, so I could think. I told my wife, I'm out until Saturday. Don't wait up. No fight, no yelling. I grabbed a duffel bag with clothes, my laptop, some cash, and left before she could say anything. My chest tightened at the door handle. I didn't look back. Tonight I'm sleeping in that bunk bed in a stranger's basement, one room, a twin mattress, no TV. My laptop balanced on a folding tray. I ordered takeout for the kids. The place is quiet. I can hear the water heater humming. It's good to be away for a bit. I can't say if I'll stay gone or if I'm planning a separation. I'm just waiting. At therapy last night, she sat across from me, shoulders rounded, eyes guarded. She blamed my lack of support for her grief, her isolation. I said, I'm not perfect, but I never lied to you about loving you. The counselor asked both of us to list what we needed. I said, I need truth. No more cover-ups. I need respect, things I earned with late shifts and weekends teaching the kids to ride a bike. And I need to know I can trust someone with my life. She nodded, but I saw the wall go up again. Classic Dodge. Afterward, she drove home alone. I went to Dave's campsite in Vermont, drank 2 beers by a dying campfire, and slept in a tent that smelled like smoke and pine. For a moment I felt clarity. If she can't be honest, I'll have to rebuild my life without her. I called my parents this morning. My dad said, Son, you work hard for your family. Don't let anyone treat you like you're disposable. I thought of the mortgage, the 401k, the van with 3 child seats. I thought about how I'll pay bills alone if this ends. I have to protect my financial security, so I opened a separate checking account, switched those joint auto-pay bills into my name, and transferred half the college fund contributions for the kids. I set up a meeting with a divorce attorney next week, just to explore options. I'm loyal to my family, but self-preservation comes first if she's choosing lies over us. My phone pinged with a text from my wife. Kids miss you. Can we talk? I stared at it and set it aside. I texted Dave. Be there in an hour. Save 2 beers. At the campsite I texted my brother. Needs some advice. Emergency. He reminded me. Stay calm. Don't burn bridges for a fight she might not even remember in 6 months. I nodded to myself, recognizing patterns. I'd seen friends do that, tear everything down, only to regret it later. I want to keep my options open, for my kids, for my sanity. Later today, I'll pick up the kids, take them fishing. I'll be the same dad they've always known. I'll keep my pants on, drink my coffee black, and tell childish jokes about worms on hooks. I'll show them it's possible to be hurt and still keep it together. I'll keep the provider role, but this time, I'll protect only my share. I'll remind myself that loyalty isn't self-destruction. I'll keep boundaries firm. No more doormat safety nets. No more turning a blind eye when someone midwives her own alibis. Right now, I don't know if I'll file separation papers or if she'll come around and prove me wrong. My gut says I deserve the truth, not excuses. If we can't rebuild on honesty, I'll walk away. I'll keep my friendships close, lean on those who know what betrayal smells like. I'll let my body heal. My stomach doesn't twist in knots. My heart doesn't feel like it's running a marathon. And I'll remember, I brought my kids into the world, and I'll stand by them, whether we're under one roof or 2. Tomorrow, I'll meet my wife at a coffee shop. We'll talk. I'll keep it plain. I need to know if you're in this marriage or not. If not, let me know now. No shouting. No accusations with expletives. Just facts laid out like cards on a table. She can call her bluff or fold. Either way, I win my dignity back. And that's the deal. I'll choose long-term stability over temporary peace. If that means walking away with half my heart and all my self-respect, I'll do it. Because in the end, I can't build a life on secrets and late-night chat heads. I'd rather be alone than half alive in a lie. I'll let her face the consequences, her reputation, our kids' trust in her, the house flipping into a different address on the deeds. And I'll pick up the pieces on my terms, with my shoulders square, my bank account intact, and my heart open to possibility. That's how I stay real, how I own my part without martyrdom, how I trust my gut when something feels off. And that's how I'll turn all this mess into a clean break, no melodrama, just a man reclaiming his life.